You're not that bitch if a cult hasn't came and tried to recruit you. You are not that bitch if you haven't been blackballed, if you haven't been blackmailed. And I'm not saying like bitch, like, hey, you're not that it bitch like you think you are if you ain't never experienced what it's truly like for a gang to come after your ass. You are not that bitch. Like, I'm just saying that shit. Like, flat out. Like, you're not the it bitch, bro. You're not the it bitch. You're not that bitch. If you ain't never had to fight for your life in any way, shape, or form, you're just not that bitch. Cause a bitch that's really that bitch, she gotta stand on her shit. She gotta stand. You're just not that bitch. You're not that bitch when you just gotta do too much. That bitch just ain't gotta do too much. And got the rest of these bitches mad. You're not that bitch. If you ain't ever had the world stop. You ain't that bitch if you ain't never had the rain fall just for your head. You're not that bitch if the sun don't shine for your ass. Like, you're just not that bitch. You're not that bitch if you don't start war. You're not that bitch if you just don't, if you don't bring nothing to the you're not that bitch. You're not that bitch if you're not ever the topic of discussion. Like, bitch, you're not that bitch if the room don't get quiet when you walk through that motherfucker. You're not that bitch if when you get in that motherfucking room, motherfuckers ain't doing the most. Like, why is everybody over here trying to outshine me? Motherfuckers out here doing too much. You're not that bitch. You're not that bitch if they ain't got a storyline already written for your ass. And you gotta fight against that motherfucker. You're not that bitch if you can't stand firm in your flaws and say, you know what, I might just be it. Now what about it? You're not that bitch. You just might not be that bitch. I'm just saying. I'm sorry to bring you bad news, to be the bearer of bad news, but I must inform you. It has certain qualities to being that bitch. You ain't that bitch if they ain't caught you on the satellite. You know what I said? You ain't that bitch if the stars don't align in your favor. Ugh. You can't even look up and have that star, that big shining star right here in the center of your motherfucking universe. You're just not that bitch. You're not that bitch if nobody hacked your phone before, hacked your whole shit. And I'm not saying, look, you gotta be a traumatized bitch to be that bitch. I'm not saying that. There's other ways to be that bitch. There's a lot of other ways to be that bitch. It's just a lot of bitches ain't that bitch. Okay, what's some other good ways? You ain't that bitch if can't nobody stand up for you. Strangers at that. Fuck the fake friends and the fake family. You ain't that bitch if you ain't got motherfuckers you ain't never met a day in your life saying that's a real one. That's a real one. Regardless of how crazy this bitch sound. She, you know, she's one of them ones. You're just not that bitch. You can't be mad at me. Don't fight that bitch because you're not that bitch. Fighting that bitch ain't gonna make you that bitch. You just gonna be the bitch that beat up that bitch. And ain't nobody gonna remember that. Don't nobody give a fuck. Nobody cares. You wanna know why they don't care? Because it's not about you. It's only about that bitch. You want to go create your own storyline, bitch? Go live your own life like it's a movie. And stop worrying about somebody else's. somebody the fuck else is. Somebody. It's always about the next bitch. And that's why I'm that bitch. Y'all made me that bitch. Y'all didn't talk so fucking much. Bitch, I'm that bitch in every motherfucking room now. I walk around this motherfucker knowing everybody know who the fuck I am. Because I'm that bitch. A lot of these bitches will never be that bitch. Because ain't nobody talking about you. Go find a way to be talked about. It ain't always got to be negative. It ain't always got to be you talking shit about that bitch to become that bitch. Because that's not going to get you nowhere. Being that bitch is knowing you that bitch. Being that bitch is standing in that bitch. Standing strong and firm in that bitch. Being that bitch is just about knowing who you are and fighting for who the fuck you are. That's just it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's even that serious. But since people want to know so bad, yeah, I know I'm that bitch. All right, and I gave you a year without coming looking like whatever, because I can do that, because I know who I am. I don't have to do this every day to know who I am. Bitch, I know who I am. I know me. I live with me. I stand with me. I sleep with me. I'm me. But yeah, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling these bitches trying to come after me because I'm that bitch. Bitch, go figure out your own story. Go figure out your own script. Go figure out your own shit. How you gonna get this shit to happen to you and what you would have done differently. Actually, go find a way to get this shit to happen to you so you can find out how you would have been able to do it better. Like, bitch, if I was being stalked and blackmailed, bitch, I swear to God, I would have did it different. Huh? You're just not that bitch. You gotta go find your own story. This is just gonna be added on to my story, bitch. I was a cult that came after me, bitch. I never even would have thought. I never would even thought. I would have never even thought that. I would have never thought that. You know what I'm saying? But it happened. And, you know, it's whatever. I'm that bitch. When you that bitch, shit just so happened to be. And it's like, she ain't even on that. Bitch, it ain't about me looking the way I look. All right? Looks is a plus. It's who you are in the insides. How you make people feel. That's really what matters. It wasn't just about how beautiful Marilyn Monroe was. It was how she carried herself. It was her demeanor, how she dressed, her acting, her singing, fashion, all of that, an icon. The attitude, everything was just iconic about her, right? I'm from America, so I didn't even really know about Princess Diana until like shit, a year and a half ago, damn near. And I didn't even know. That side of the world don't really come over here. So I wasn't really familiar with Princess Diana, but now that I am familiar with her, yeah, she carried something. It wasn't just about her beauty. It was about what she represented and how she put her heart into everything she did. All right? So therefore, I need you to understand, to be that bitch, you just gotta be that. You gotta be it. If you're not it, you can't attack somebody that is it. You can't. They attacking me. Oh, yeah, because why are you attacking that bitch? Go home. All right.